test. Okay. Hello.
Hello, week 6. I want to figure out the amount of times this season. This is the only season where this has really happened, where we film rankings and then literally the opposite thing happens.
I know.
We said, it looks like Hunter's going to stay. Flip didn't happen. John is definitely going home. Only went home by 1 vote. And then this last week. So last week, I'm sure you heard us give Grace 3s because Grace was definitely going home and was definitely going to give Eliov the life preserver power, which was going to essentially give him the game. And Amina was still going to be here and in a fairly okay spot. No, it was a tied vote. And Cal sent Amina home. And now Grace is still in the game as the head of household and the veto winner.
This is just a fun fact that I'm realizing. If Kalani goes home tonight and Monet goes home next week, everyone who voted to evict Cade in the John week will have gone home.
Yep. And it's not an unlikely scenario. As of now, Camilo's going home, but with that trend going, that probably means Kalani will be going by the end of the night. So,
yes.
So we'll see, but it's not looking. It's looking real good for some people, and it's looking real bad for some others. And I'm really, really excited to talk about this. The season just got very, very interesting.
Okay, we'll start off with our HOH/veto winner, Grace.
Holy crap, girl.
Grace had 3s from both of us last week.
Most of the time, when a flip happens, it's not the person on the block that does it. It's like someone else decides, no, it's smarter for me to keep this person. And then they flip the votes. That's generally what happens. That's what like Anthony flipped the vote.
To be fair, I think that's what happened here. I don't think Grace really
I totally disagree.
I think
Grace was the one that sealed her saying.
I don't know. I think we thought Grace was going until Cade voted. At least I did. Cade was the last vote.
Well, listen.
And I think Cade was just like, okay, I'm going to do this.
But Grace was the one to talk to Cade. They both came up with the plan, but then Grace talked to Haley. Grace talked to Eliov. Grace was the one to get those votes. And then Cade was there to like support and confirm with them. But like Grace was the one to do it. It wasn't Cade convincing the other votes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if Cade didn't do that, then she wouldn't have stayed. I think it was true. Cade that ultimately like made the decision.
For sure, but it was great. Like, but normally, whereas like if
Cade I agree with you on all the other
Cade would get the votes.
Yes.
I mean, it definitely was Cade and Grace in tandem, but this is one of the few times where I think like, oh, wow, the person on the block fought and stayed because of the work that they put in rather than someone else flipping a bunch of votes for them, which is really, really interesting. I also think that Grace is in a interesting place moving forward. She's definitely not safe, but there are other people that I think are less safe. Grace is now well situated with Eliov and Cade, with Haley and Molly, and with Cal.
Grace is doing well for herself.
And Monet, to be fair, and Monet now. So that's a good majority of the house. That being said, Kalani, where Camilla would not hold it against Grace, I don't think, not because Camilla's not that kind of person, but because Camilla, I don't think like cares enough. I think to just be quite frank, Kalani's going to hold this against Grace. And if Kalani gets any power, God forbid, is going after Grace. Grace and Cal, I think, are the noms. So she's not like totally well situated, but she's done pretty well for herself for, as of last rankings, going home.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
So I'm really excited for her prospects, but definitely not like in the perfect spot yet.
I think I definitely agree with you. Like, when it was looking like she was going to, I feel like I said last week, I was like, we have to bring Grace back, like for something. because we thought she was gonna go home. Like we literally thought she was leaving because everyone was like, "I want to keep Amina," and then like literally in the last hour, everyone was like, "Actually,
It was.
Grace's
It wasn't even the
campaign
last hour. It was literally
her key,
10 minutes
her
before the
campaign wasn't
eviction.
even
Grace was
working.
not staying.
She made it the thing.
Listen, Grace, bestie, your campaign made people think it was a good idea to evict you.
That's why. Okay, I want to give the breakdown of the night. I was going into a concert. I went into what was the eviction at like 10? I went into
Yeah.
I went into a concert at 7:45, 8 o'clock. When I was walking in, she was telling people that she had a power that like let her nominate 2 people if she was voted out. I don't even know what it was. It was
a coup d'etat if she got voted out. Like if you vote Grace out, she can pick another player to put on the block and it's a redo eviction. What happened was all of Grace's allies, Haley and Eliab, were like, great, then we'll vote you out and you can stay and we can get rid of someone. And then Grace was like, oh, well, actually, what if we didn't do that?
So that was at 8 o'clock when I was walking to a concert. I was like, okay, great. We already knew Amina was staying. This is further pushing it. I go in. I do not look at my phone because I'm in a concert. I come back for the eviction and I'm like, what the hell is going on? How did she stay? She literally had the worst campaign of her life. But
literally the signing, it was 5 minutes before the eviction, like literally 5 minutes before the eviction. She's on FaceTime with Eliab, tells Eliab like the power is fake. I have no power. And Eliab's like, damn, we could have saved, I thought we could have saved you and Amina, but okay, guess not. And Grace is like, but Eliab, listen, I have the votes if you vote to keep me. And Eliab was really honest with her. He was like, Grace, I love you. I want you to stay. I really just I don't think you have it. And Grace was like, I do have it. And I was like, okay, who are the votes? And Grace was like, Molly and Haley. And Eliab was like, okay, that's 2. And then Grace goes, and Cade. And Eliab's face literally goes, and then goes, and then Grace is like, no. I have Cade. And Eliab was like, I really don't think you have Cade. And then Grace is like, no. Like he's worked so hard to keep me. And I was like, Cade? And he's like, yes. And Eliab's like, okay, fine. I'll vote to keep you. But I'm letting you know, I really think you're going home. Eliab votes to keep Grace. It is a 4-4 tie. Cal sends him Amina, and Eliab is like, what just happened? So now Eliab knows it's Cade. Cade knows it's Eliab, but they won't tell each other.
There's a whole conversation. I don't know if I sent it to you. I took a screenshot and like put Snapchat text over it. It's like Cade going to Eliab and it's like, hey, if you voted to evict Amina, like it's okay. I just want to know. And Eliab's like, no, like honestly, I don't think anybody's gonna ever come forward about it. Did you? And I put like text over it. It was like, these are 2 people who both voted to evict Amina, and they're not like, God, this game is so good.
It was so funny. So anyway, Grace had a lot of good, but also like it was a little bit of luck.
And then there's still more to talk about. I feel like Kalani and Monet feel like strong, good nominations. I feel like.
Yeah, she had a really strong HOH week, and she made, despite putting Monet on the block, I think she's leaving this week, being Monet's ally, because Monet needs allies.
It would
like
be
this is a good thing.
Her. I don't know why she's pushing for Camilla to go. It would be 1,000,000% better if Kalani.
1,000,000% better for Kalani to go. Because here's the thing: the alliance of Eliab, Michael, and Cade already don't trust Camilla for whatever reason. Haley and Molly want Camilla. Like no one wants Kalani out, and Kalani will go after Grace. Versus everyone wants Camilla out, and Camilla will not go after Grace. Like it is a very clear cut and dry. Kalani should be the one to go here.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of how high to go.
I know exactly where I'm going. So you should go first.
I definitely will. Let's see here. Who here is like, my target is Grace? Kalani,
and that's it.
Honestly, like I feel like she's pretty well surrounded. She's got Cade with her now. Eliab's always been here. Monet's not going to put her up probably.
She's pretty well surrounded for now, is the thing. Because as soon as people take out their targets, it's kind of a similar place where like maybe Natalie was situated. And it was slightly better, like definitely better. But like no one was
I don't
targeting
know.
Natalie, but she was well situated. She's no one's number, like as of right now, no one, I don't think anyone would like plan on having Grace in like their final five. Like, you know what I mean?
I
Because right now
don't
a lot can
know.
change. But like, for example, Michael, not like Michael would go after Grace very soon.
And also her telling Eliab about her power, dumb,
Is
bad.
only going to spell bad news for her. Only going to spell bad
I'm
news
gonna
for
go up
her.
to a 6 with. I'm gonna go up if next week continues this.
A 6 is exactly where I'm going as well.
I don't know if I agree with you that. I mean, she did just win HOH and veto this week, so that's a little worrisome. Oh my god, Grace's line going like. Boom. Yeah. Honestly, like.
she's currently, I think, the dark horse to win.
Yeah, I agree.
She's got a shot to the end for sure, but she's not anywhere near coasting to the end at this point.
All right, let's move on. Camilo.
Yeah, this is a little unfortunate for Camilo. I think, I don't know.
2. I'm going 2.
I'm going to as well. It's not his fault he didn't do anything, but like it's a situation where it's like, whereas some people, when it's not their fault, it's like they get screwed. This is like Camilo didn't get screwed. He knew he had a good chance to go home this week. He didn't do anything, and I don't see him doing anything to save himself moving forward. Even if he does stay, which isn't unlikely, like don't get me wrong, I think there is still a world where he could stay. But even if he does, like he's on the bottom of the house.
Exactly.
I don't think anyone really trusts him. I don't think anyone votes for him in the jury. It just kind of slipped away from him.
2. Okay. Moving on. Good talk.
Alrighty, that was enough.
I agree with you. Kalani. Kalani had what? 5 from you and a 4 from me.
Listen, okay. Respectfully, Kalani may be the most delusional person in the game. I just
I
get
feel bad
so
because she texts people and then they don't respond, and then she like double texts them the next day being like, "Hey, we said we were gonna do this thing, right?" But it was really just you saying that you were gonna do that thing.
well. This is what it was the same thing with Charles. Things like texting Amina super frantically, and granted, it was a split vote. Hear me out here. However, like let's rewind here. Kalani was saying it was going to be a split vote with no basis that it was going to before it was, and was completely wrong about where the votes were. And going to Amina of like, Michael's flipping the vote. It's Michael. You've got to get Michael. It's gonna be your Amina, you're going home. And I'm like, literally, no one, I was like, Kalani, you have not talked to Michael. 1. 2, no one has said Michael's flipping it. 3, Michael's one of Amina's closest allies. And 4, you've just decided in your mind, because you've decided that these 4 people are voting to keep Amina, and Michael is someone who is, in theory, according to you, not, that Michael is against you. That's not the case. You just didn't talk to Michael. Let's use our brains. So yeah, Kalani's on the block as well. Kalani, I think, has no solid allies. I think the only solid ally here's the other thing that kills me. So Kalani has Eliab looking out for her, but that's very much a like Eliab will look out for Kalani until it's not convenient for Eliab to look out for Kalani. Kalani is also hardcore going after like Cal and Molly, who are, oh yeah, the only 2 people in the game that don't want to go after Kalani. Why Kalani wants Cal out so bad? I understand that Cal's a threat, but Cal is literally one of the only people that will not put you up on the block. So why would you go after Cal if you win HOH? I think if Kalani wins HOH, the nominations are Cal and Grace. And for what reason? I don't know why you target Cal. So
totally off topic, but Kalani's veto competition last night, the reactions were so funny. I've enjoyed them very much.
Yeah. Okay.
I should have recorded it. Yeah. But yes, 3 for Kalani from me.
I'm going to a 3 as well because I think it is still likely that she goes home.
Yeah,
Really, it's kind of crazy how monumental that flip vote in week 3 was.
I know.
Literally,
It
it
literally
was
defines
such
the
a
entire
bad
game.
move. It was
If
such a bad move.
one,
You have Charles to blame, and it screwed all of them.
if
One,
one vote went a
two,
different,
3.
if one vote went a different way, the entire game would be different. But anyway,
Bad, 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 bad,
okay.
bad.
I have nothing else to say on Kalani. I've said this about a bunch of people that has not been true. Has not come true, but I think Kalani's time in the game is coming to an end.
That's the
But
thing. What's crazy? We thought Cal was out of here for a while. We thought
Molly,
Kalani. We thought Mom. Exactly. What are these people still doing here?
okay.
Why?
All right, we can skip
Um.
to Monet because Monet had the veto used on her this week. Um,
Okay. This is crazy. I'm gonna say it right here. Period, Monet.
I've been
Finally
saying this for
playing the
weeks.
game.
I've been saying this
Playing
for
the
weeks.
game. Um.
I knew she
This.
had it.
I was like, yes. Finally, we're seeing Monet
Well, to be
talk.
fair, it was more of like Grace being like, "Why should I keep you off the block?" And she was like, "I won't put you up next week." And Grace was like, "Okay."
No, but to be fair, Monet was the one that started the conversation. Monet was like, "Listen, I know I'm going up. Is there anything I can say to like what can I do to keep myself around?" And Grace was like, "Don't like I am planning on nominating you right now, but if you like, I'm down to change. Like I'm not locked in that. I'm totally open to having a conversation."
No,
Monet had that
that's what
conversation.
I've been saying. Monet is like a little bit quieter, but like when she needs to,
She's
like
down to
she
earth.
comes out. Yeah,
Yes.
and she like keeps her relationships going. Like she talks to Eliav all the time.
Yeah, that's the one thing. She like here's the thing. We say Monet hasn't talked to anyone. We mean hasn't talked to anyone game wise. Monet's been a person that has kept up personal relationships really, really well. Like no one, despite Monet being like now like a pretty big name threat, she's tied for most comp wins
Which
of
is
the season.
crazy.
But no one's like, I don't like Monet. Like here's the thing. If Monet got to the end, I think she has a serious shot at winning a jury vote. Because I think everyone likes her. They respect her comp wins. And while sure, her her strategic game may not be super there, that doesn't matter. We saw other people who didn't have strategic games win the game. Like,
For sure.
So like I like her, and granted, there's one member of the jury currently, but I think her jury chances if she got to the end would be pretty good, depending on who she's next to.
And depending on what happens in the next 13 days of the game, there's still so much game.
Exactly. There's still so much time. Despite all of these positive things, though, unfortunately,
I was about to say
she's
that
still not in a great spot.
No.
So I am raising my score, but unfortunately, I'm just going to raise it back up to a 4.
I'm gonna go to a 5 actually.
Nice.
I think. I mean, Monet has proven that she can win competitions when she needs to. She got an HOH, a Beach Patrol, and a veto competition this week. 1 in 4 chance of winning the Beach Patrol. By the way, this is what the odds are this week for everybody. I guess this week was 1 in 3, but
I just hope for her sake, and I have a feeling this is where it'll end up. She's going to be paired with Camilla or Kalani. Like she will be paired with whoever is left. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Haley and Molly, Eliav and Grace, Michael and Cade.
Yeah.
Cal and whoever is not HOH. Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like that groups of pairings, and I just don't think Kalani or Camilo. Actually, no, Monet and Camilo I think could take it. But that's a big if. Camilo.
What even is the? Let me check.
It's pattern match.
Yeah, that's a fast competition.
It is a fast competition, but Monet has the chops to win that.
I agree.
It fits her skill set. She was great about Tev.
I'm going up to. I was at a 4. I'm going up to a 5.
Sky. I was at a 3. I'm going up to a 4. But
yeah.
And I hope, I really like Monet. She's always here.
Me too. She is always here when she says she's going to be here.
Here's the thing. She is the most dependable person. All of the, let me make it very clear. All of the slack I feel like I've talked to Monet has just been because we haven't seen her play the most active strategic game. But as a house guest in the game, she is so delightful to have. And this week made me really happy. And I want to see Monet stick around. This 4 is no longer a you can go home whenever 4. It's a you're a big threat.
She was going home until I woke up today, and Grace said, "Oh, by the way, I'm using the veto on Monet." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, literally.
Which I don't think was bad. I think that was good.
I think that was a great move for Grace, especially with Camilo as the replacement nom. It's really not getting blood on her hands. People are fine with Camilo going. Maybe it saves face with Kalani. It definitely gains an ally in Monet.
Yeah.
Who has proven to be more than competent in competitions. Like, I think this is a great move on Grace's part. It was a great move on Monet's part.
Yeah. Okay. To Cade. Cade had 7s from both of us last week.
I'm gonna start with Cade this week.
Yeah.
Snaps. I love Cade. Cade is now, listen, I've said this jumps around. This title switches, but currently Cade is the one in the money position. He is the number 3 of the Molly Haley alliance. He is the number 3 of the Eliav Michael alliance. He has a good enough relationship with Cal. He now has a great partnership with Grace.
The only worry I have is that it could all come crashing down.
But listen, don't get me wrong, it absolutely could.
Because the structure has started to shake a little bit. But these people are not competent enough to figure out who, like, there are only 4 people that voted to evict Amina. Come on.
Listen, it's both people aren't competent enough, but also, even as they have started to figure this out, like, Michael started to figure it out and was like, okay, so maybe I don't trust Eliav. Cade, we need to ride this together. Like, everyone trusts Cade. And here's the thing. I literally bring it back to Cade almost got screwed over in the votes, was blindsided by it. Like, when he heard, he was like scrambling. And since then has really played the card well of
he is such a good player.
He's such a good player. The way he talks to people, it's like, I believe that you don't know what's going on. Because for a while, it wasn't acting. He, like, week 4,
no idea what's going on.
had not a soul idea what was going on. But then, as soon as jury
now he knows everything.
He was the one to restructure the entire game around him, and is now running it, but is still playing dumb. And everyone is just still in the mindset of like, Cade doesn't know what's going on. I can trust Cade. We're in it together. And it's so impressive. Like, he's someone that I actually see game sense. He's the first person that I've heard talk about actually making a move, taking out Eliav. Huge. It's not happening soon, which is smart. But, like, I think around final 7, final 6, around the time of the double, we could see Cade strike. And I see him, like, what I want so badly for Cade is to ride the Skittles, take out Kalani and Monet, then jump over to Haley and Molly to take out Eliav. And then you're left in the final 5 with himself, Haley, Molly, Grace, Michael. Cade is set to win the game at that point. Crazy.
I know. I'm trying.
Because it might come crashing down. I can't go super, super high yet.
I'm going to raising.
I'm going to an 8 for sure.
Oh my God. He could take this whole thing. And he almost went home in week 3. Like, imagine if he voted. One vote.
Imagine right now, no offense to these people, I would lose my mind if this season was currently being run by John, Charles, Kalani. Like, no, please, no. It was so messy. I love you all dearly as human beings.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I put Cal up to an 8, not Cade.
Oh, did you look at the mark and was like, that's a huge jump?
I was like, wait, Cade's blue.
Look at that. That's right.
There we go.
That is right. Is Cade the first person that's hit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 8 average. Highest score of the season so far. Well deserved.
I'm waiting for like the graph to like shift down once we go up to a 9 for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we hit some 10s by the end of the season. I'm hoping.
We'll see. Who has hit 10s before? Has it just been Alex, Maeve, and Wick?
Yeah. Alex, Maeve.
Grace Del Piso.
Maybe Sean or Maris.
No, I know I did not have them at a 10.
No one from season 7 for sure.
No one from season 7.
I can check. Just because I'm curious. I'm pretty sure we went up to Bro, you didn't put Sean or Maris at a 10 going into the finale?
No. Because I was so unsure if either of them had neither of them were locked to win. Like a 10, like if Wick got to the final two, she wins hands down, no question. That's why I had Olivia at a 10. Granted, she didn't get there.
Oh no! Wow, Maris had a
Like they were
7.
at like, yeah, they were at like 7s and 8s and 6s.
Sean
Yeah.
had an 8.5. So it was Alex, Maeve, and then Wick. Yeah,
And Wick, yeah. Only 3 people.
only one of them won. But granted, if Alex is against Emily,
so. I was gonna say, yeah.
And if Wick was there, she would have won. So okay.
And 10's hard to get, is the point.
10 is really hard to get. So and 8 is really good. 8 is really impressive. And 9 even more so. Okay. Now moving on to Cal. Looks like Cal had 4 from both of us.
Listen, for realistically, and I mean this in the kindest way, for as bad of a player that Cal seems to be, they're actually.
I mean this in the nicest way. Cal sucks, is what I just heard.
No, as not bad, as messy of a player as Cal has been, really like not ever once considering what anyone else thinks, very much just like a this is the move because it's best for me. Has always managed to stay in the good graces of most of the house. Like
everybody likes them. I don't understand.
The biggest flaw I can say about Cal is that they're gonna have a really listen, for a while now, we said their time in the game is short. To be honest, I no longer believe that.
Yeah,
I think
honestly,
Cal could be here for a while. The biggest problem that Cal's gonna have is getting to the final 2. Because I don't know of anyone that is like Cal has to win their way there. Here's the thing though, very possible. So again, most well situated in the house, definitely not. Chance they go home next week? Sure. Most likely, I don't think so. So do you want me to go first? My score?
We're both at 4s. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I think.
Yeah. I'm personally raising my score to a 5.
I might change. I'm looking at I'm going to reevaluate my rankings at the end once we do everybody. Because if Kalani wins, you're right. Cal, Grace go on the block. I don't know. I'm actually baffled how they're still here. I don't get
Cal,
it.
Kalani, and Molly are still here.
No, just Cal. Literally just Cal. How do you win 3 out of the first 5 HOHs?
Cal has won every single odd-numbered HOH. He's won week 1, week 3, week 5. If the pattern continues, Cal will win HOH.
I just don't know.
I personally think it's unlikely that they win tonight's comp. Tonight's comp is very social strategic, and I think there's too many people that don't want Cal to win. I think likely winners of tonight's HOH. Haley is smart. Kate is well liked. Eliav maybe.
I feel like. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna go to a 5 as well. I was considering going up to a 6, but I think running through my head of who in the past I've given 5s to, I think Cal's still right around there. I don't think that. Oh, I'm so uncertain.
I'm definitely not going to a 6 just because I think Cal is not a smart enough player to deserve a 6. To me, Grace and Cal are not on the same level. Grace is a far.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I think Grace could go up to a 7. So I don't know. Crap. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm putting Cal at a 6 and I'm putting Grace to a 7. I was debating with Grace earlier. I think after this past week that Grace has had, in my opinion, she deserves a 7. I think she's fine for next week, And I think Cal, the amount of shit we've given them and how many times we've said they're going home, and just the plain fact that they haven't yet is crazy.
Not only haven't gone home, hasn't touched the block.
Crazy. Insane.
Has not
Insane.
been on it.
So, okay, I'm putting Cal. Cal's going to a 5.5, and Grace going to a 6.5. Okay. All right. Eliav had. I don't know where Eliav's at.
I think an 8 from me and a 7 from you.
7 from me, yeah.
Okay, so Eliav is still definitely situated really well for I think a while. That being said, I think now, whereas before I thought Eliav was a lock for like Final Four, I now no longer feel that. And I think when I say for a while, I mean probably through the double, which is going to happen at the Final 8. There's 2 more weeks. But I think as soon as we hit the double, Eliav is fair game to be taken out. Maybe even during the double. And it's going to be at the hands of Cade, and I don't think Eliav necessarily sees that coming, which is a dangerous spot to be in, especially because Cade definitely has Haley and Molly on his side in terms of taking out Eliav. They no longer trust him.
I feel like
Haley's been feeling this way for a while.
If Eliav told Cade the truth about his vote, I feel like they could have established something. And I think that was a mistake, not being honest.
I think Eliav is being a little too cautious playing the middle. Cade is playing the middle aggressively and is playing the middle well. Eliav's playing the middle well, but when you're too wishy-washy, and like here's the difference between Cade and Eliav. Cade is actively telling everyone except for 1 or 2 people that not only he's with them, but is like making plans with them. He's strategized with Haley and Molly. He's strategized with Eliav and Michael. He's strategized with Camilla. He's strategized with Grace. If he wins HOH, it's clear to Cade, put up Kalani, put up Monet. No doubt, and you get no blood on your hands. Vito wins, backdoor Cal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really not a bad spot to be in. Eliav has been hasn't strategized enough with people, has just kind of played nice in the middle. And if Eliav wins HOH, because he's been a little too nice with too many people, like I assume he probably puts up Haley and Molly, which is I think like a fine move. But like even like last week during the vote with Grace, I thought it was clearly better for him to keep Grace, and like he wasn't pushing for it. I just don't see him pushing the game forward enough and I think as much there's a difference between playing hard and playing messy. You cannot play messy, it's what gets you caught. But you need to play hard for people to trust you. People trust Cade because he strategizes with them. Eliav, I really haven't heard. He's been on the receiving end of strategy, but I really haven't heard him strategize with anyone besides Amina and Grace. And now Amina's gone. So it's definitely tricky. He is still situated well. I'm going to go down to a 7 because I think again, he still has a very good shot to win. Very good shot. But it's not a thing where I'm any longer like, oh yeah, Eliav's locked for the end. I think he's got work to do, and it's slowly but surely falling apart for him. And it'll just be interesting to see how things unfold. So yeah, I'm going down to a 7.
I was going to say, I completely agree with you. Like, people have been talking about Eliav a little bit, being like, oh, he's one to watch out for eventually, not like right now. But I completely agree with everything that you said. I think this kind of structure that he's built with his after his HOH and, like with his new alliance with Skittles, I feel like
that structure got dismantled by Cade's new structure.
I was going to say,
he doesn't realize it.
About to come crashing down. So I'm going to, he's still in a great spot, like looking at from right now's perspective. So I'm going to stay at my 7. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay. All right, who's next? Haley.
I love Haley.
Haley had 5 from both of us.
The only thing that breaks my heart about Haley is she is such a good strategic player. She is so smart. Like she really thinks, I think, like Nora does in terms of like how strategic and good they are. The only difference is, and it just has to do with how the game is shaken out, it's really not Haley's fault entirely. Nora was positioned with everyone and was able to pull strings. Haley has to fight from the bottom. The thing is, though, Haley knows she's like, again, she knows she's at the bottom. She knows she has work to do, and she does the work and she does it well. But that's only going to save her for so long if she doesn't get in with these people. Her alliance with Cade
And
is huge,
I
but that
think
is
Cade's
one
gonna save
person.
her.
That is one person. Like if it's Haley and Molly on the block, I think Cade is going to fight to evict Molly.
For sure.
Um,
And I think that would probably, I mean, I feel like you could make the case like Molly's really close with Cal. Cal's someone we want out. I feel like that.
you could just say Molly's too chaotic.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
Haley is not a big enough threat yet, but I think Haley is a big enough threat to warrant wanting
She
King
is
out.
so, you're right. She's so strategic, but she just hasn't like
She
been
doesn't
able,
have, unfortunately, she doesn't have the social connection. She has the agency. She
she
doesn't have
hasn't been
the connection.
able to like use it, is what I mean. Like
She needs an HOH. She needs an HOH
she
so
needs an
badly.
HOH. Like I actually believe that like if she wins HOH and does the right thing and builds connections with the right people, like she could become a serious contender to win this game.
If she, and like, listen, I'm so glad that Grace won, but if Haley won HOH, I really see a world where it's like the new power structure is Haley, Molly, Cade, Eliab, Grace, and it's those five.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that like if Haley wins HOH, I could really see Grace being pulled into the fold. I could really see Cal being pulled into the fold. Like Cal doesn't trust Haley for whatever reason. And for actually a good reason, Haley wants Cal out, but still, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
Haley
do.
is smart. Haley will fight for her allies. She does it all the time. And no one wants to fight at that. So like strategically, she's at a 6, 7, 8. But socially, she's just really being dragged down. I don't know if I can raise my score just because I think it's really likely that like next week, if Monet, like, I don't know, it's just a really precarious position and it really makes me sad. Like I view Haley's chances of going home just as high as Cal's chances of going home. And that's why for me, I just have to stay at my 5.
And that's why I think I'm going to go up to a 6. I think it's like I feel like I say this every week, but it is crucial who wins HOH this week. Like it will probably, in my eyes, determine like the next few weeks of the game and how it goes. Because I feel like we're in such like a.
I don't think this. I think this week is going to be pretty straightforward. I would be. Don't get me wrong. Unless one of these people wins HOH, I would expect for sure the most likely people to leave next week are Monet and Kalani. If
Not
assuming
even
Camila goes
just
this
that.
week.
Like it will determine like who is siding with who. You know, like there are so many people have so many different options of people to go with. I feel like this could really like determine. It might decide for which way they should go. Yeah, I'm going to 6. Okay. Michael had a 6 from you, 5 from me.
Mm-hmm.
One of us 6, one of us 5. Yeah.
My thoughts last week are very much reigning true. The game is slipping through Michael's fingers. Here's the positive thing I can say that. Last week, Michael didn't realize it. But after Amina went home, Michael realized this week of like, oh shit, I'm more on the bottom than I thought. And is trying to claw and fix it, which I really, really appreciate. Unfortunately, he was so close to figuring it out. He was like, wait, okay, my alliances all told me that they kept Amina, but Monet and Kalani clearly kept Amina. That's why they're on the block. So at least 2 people in my alliance are lying.
And then doesn't do anything with it. I'm like, bro. Like Camila, like they should have figured it out. Like the two
he's
of them
playing it. He's playing it too safe. Is the thing. I don't think. Like I just don't. I don't see a world where a jury votes for Michael to win anymore.
Mm-mm.
Because I think if Michael makes it to the end, he's sitting next to Elliot, he's sitting next to Cade, one of the two, who are both people that just blow him out of the water. So like he's still in a fine position, but like there are multiple people that put him up as at least a pawn next week. I think Monet would. I think Kalani could. I think Haley and Molly could. So it's another tricky, precarious position. I'm gonna go down to a 5.
I'm staying at my 5. Michael, I'm so sad. Like you and Camilo like should have figured it out. Like that was like that's sad. I'm sorry.
Listen, I don't fault them for not figuring it out entirely, but I fault them for not like
Trying.
they realize
They
trying harder.
tried.
Exactly. If you didn't figure it out, fine. Because it's like, don't get me wrong, it's hard to figure out where the rat is. But it's the thing of like, okay, I've identified a problem. I know I can't trust 2 out of these 3 people. Oh wow. like that's what it
actually,
was.
like
Like that's what happened. And I am confused by it. What should have happened was like, yes, it's risky, but like go to Kalani and Monet being like, you 2 voted to keep Amina. I voted to keep Amina. That means that it's one of these people. I don't know which ones, but I know it's not you 2. So we need to fight to get someone else on the block. And like, even if Camilo got backdoored, if Michael had suspicion that it could be Camilo, great. Drop Camilo and move forward with Kalani and Monet, who don't have anyone. Like there's a clear path to gain more allies, and he just didn't take it. He played it safe, and he stayed with the people that outright have been lying to him. And I don't know how much longer it's going to work, because people now like Monet and Kalani don't want to work with Michael because they think he was the one. Like, yeah, bad.
Okay, 5. Molly Murphy, where were you at? I can't tell. 4.5, I think.
Great. From the creator of Erin and Grace are in a known alliance comes Monet has been lying to everybody. And she's about her secret alliances. Girl, what? Where on earth did you come up with this? I'm legitimately bewildered. Monet has secret alliances that she's been lying to about everyone. Why? Because Cal wants Monet out. And even though Cal has said a bunch of times it's because Monet voted out Cade over John, just has determined in her brain, oh, well, if Cal wants Monet out, it's because Monet is in secret alliances with everyone. Like, what? No. Such, no. Bad. The question is, where does Molly stand? Because here's the thing.
Not in a good place, I don't think.
But here's the thing. Despite Molly not being in a good place, her name hasn't been brought up.
I don't think anybody's even like taking her seriously anymore.
That's what it is. I think it is super likely that Molly's in the final 3, maybe the final 2, and gets no votes. Because it's not a thing. Like, listen, Isabel, when it comes to Isabel, strategic, not as much as she'd like to think. But at least she was super well liked. She was super social, and people like were like, "Damn, Isabel, you played a good game."
Yeah,
Molly doesn't even know going for her. Like Molly,
exactly.
Nothing. 0%. She is like Molly. You're entertaining. That's what you're going for you. But respectfully, you're not good strategically. You're not good socially. And you're not good competition wise. You have 0%
going down a little bit.
to win the game.
There's still a lot left, but I'm giving Molly a 4. So
yeah, I'm giving Molly a 4 too. Listen, like entertainment wise, she's so much fun. But there's not a single argument that anyone can make for her to win the game currently. Other than she's in the final 2, which in all honesty, not a bad argument. Seeing as she was going home week 2.
This is true. That I wonder what we get. Where was her line that week? Oh, still not that high. 5.5, I think.
She was probably down at 4s.
When was this week? I don't know
The
that
dotted red line. Yeah, she went down to a 4 in week 2.
one. Yeah. Okay, well, we have Cade on top here.
Rightfully so.
Um,
Can we? Okay, we do green sometimes. We do yellow sometimes. Make up your mind.
It's green. I've done green. I did yellow one time.
You did yellow last time.
I thought we did green.
No, you did yellow last time. You did green the time before that. It was yellow the time before that.
All right, what do you want me to do? Green or yellow?
We've always done yellow.
Okay, well, you always do it, and you don't have Wi-Fi, so you need to. Kate is on top. Eliav right behind, and then Camilo on bottom.
With who's right behind Camilla?
Kalani.
Kalani. Yeah, that makes sense. Followed by Molly. Yeah, not shocking. Really, really. I mean, tonight's turnover, which I don't know why Stephen hates the comp so much, because it has never failed one.
But it is true. I don't like the competition, but it's always had good results.
It's always had good results. It is so entertaining. It spikes up the season even more. I'm really interested to see who's going to win this. It is not boring. You get to watch. It is so not boring.
Well, I get to do it tonight, so thank God.
I was going to say, I'm really sad. What time is it?
The eviction's at 8.
Oh yeah, so I'll be dead smack in the middle of the show. So yeah, I definitely won't be able to.
Yeah, everyone had conflict starting at like 9, so I was like, okay.
Oh, they conflict starting at 9.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
When do people stop having conflicts?
Why? I don't think it's gonna matter. Let's see. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay, yeah, let's stop recording now.
Okay, bye. See you next eviction. Okay, bye. Stop.